Okay, it's Sunday. The description of the auction is in the description box, and it will end on Monday. Just to remind you, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific time. Okay, the first item here is a blade I made from raw Texas chert. It was a little bit difficult to nap this piece, but I got it thinned down. I was going to make a knife out of it for the auction, but I didn't have time to haft it and all that. So I'll just offer it as is. The blade is somewhat like a dovetail. I mean the base, the stem, or the hafting area, something like a dovetail looking thing, but it's a little bit small, but it still works. All right, so that's the first one. Second item, F02, is just a simple wrapped blade. Let me take a measurement here. Forgot the measurement. This one is a little over 4.5 inches. This one is 3 5/8. Heat treat, semi-translucent. Just a simple wrapped blade I made this week. All right, next on the list is our bag of brokes, so to speak. All from this week. This here is an attempt at a Harden, right? But the stem is too small. The dimensions are a little bit too small. I have another one in the auction. This is more in line with what they looked like. Okay. This was a Clovis attempt. I made a couple Clovises this week. This is one attempt. These are kind of interesting. Some people like to collect those. This was an Eden I tried this week also. I've done a lot of pressure flaking practice and stuff, and I overshot this. Took a flake right there, hit a high spot, and then continued over. So, and one more thing, this little Gunther type point. I broke the point and the stem off on this one, but I just repaired it, and then I'm offering it as a broke. Okay. F03. Next item, I've got three of these Laguna style points. I can make these pretty fast, so that's why I'm offering a lot of them in these auctions. I make these fast and aggressively with bold flaking, and sometimes the edges are a little bit wonky, sometimes the notches are asymmetrical, that kind of thing. But they look like this, so, very similar to this. All right. Next one is another Laguna type. Let me take a measurement of the previous one. About 3 inches. I'm getting down to spalls that are around 3 inches or less. So, not too many big items on this particular auction. Semi-translucent, nice sharp tip. Georgetown. This material here, some sort of Central Texas chert heat treat. Yeah, this is Georgetown. It was a kind of a gnarly piece of Georgetown, very difficult in some areas. Some areas very easy to nap, and some areas not. It's not. I guess it's more of an Edwards chert and not a Georgetown. I see some specks in here and different coloration. I had it in my Georgetown bin. Anyway, yeah, it was kind of difficult to nap, but I got it made. Let's see. Next one, 06, another Laguna style. This one has a longer stem compared to the ears or the barbs. I think this is more common to have a longer stem than the barbs or the ears, right? Semi-translucent around the edges. This one is for sure Georgetown. But it's a, let's see, I guess that's from the same nodule. Yeah, these are from the same nodule. It is a kind of a gnarly, steppy version of Georgetown. Okay. Next one is an attempt at an andice point with just hand pressure, no vertical stuff, just a regular hand pressure flaker. That's about as deep as I can get the notches on one of these with just a hand pressure flaker without punching it. It's a 3 1/8 and the notches are almost 3/4 inches deep. Now I've tried punch notching these vertically. I have done a few with vertical punches, but it increases the odds of me breaking it. So I don't usually do it that way. If I want one for myself, if I want to make a knife or something, I'll just notch them by hand like this with a hand flaker. Okay. I think this is raw and not heat treat. These Georgetown pieces in this particular auction are not heat treats. These are raw. Okay. F08. It's a Pedernales looking point. Nice translucent chert. I had some stepping going on here. I cleaned it off mostly, but I made all my points quickly this week. I think I made all of these in a period of 3 days. Everything you're seeing here except maybe one, the little Gunther point, I made in the past 3 days or 4 days. So I made them pretty quick. Okay. All right, let's see. F09. This is a Harden style. I think this is a West Texas chert. But it looks very similar to Burlington or to Mississippi gravel. Now, Hardens were not made from this particular type of material, but they were made from something similar. Okay. A little bit lumpy. It was lumpier. I had a big old lump on this side. I managed to thin it down last night just before I went to sleep. Okay, let's see. Almost 3 7/8. Sorry about that. Always hit that lamp. It's right there next to the camera, so I can get the translucent views of these points. All right, so we're going to get into some smaller ones. This one, F10. This one is a Revila style, kind of. No, it's not that translucent except around the edges. It's raw chert. Very dark looking. I think it's amoeba chert, but extremely strong. It was easy to make this, relatively easy to make this long point. Excuse me. It was relatively easy to work this flake. It's made on a flake, but it wasn't perfectly straight. It had a curve in it. It was fairly easy to take the curve out. I wish I had a lot of this material because it's pretty strong stuff. I could make some really nice long barbed points with this stuff. All right. Hohokam style point. Texas chert. I think this one is raw as well. The other one was raw just prior to this. Let's see. Two and a quarter. 2 inches or thereabouts for the F10. Semi-translucent. Usually it's difficult to make these long points out of raw stuff, but if I pick up a flake and it naps pretty easily, I'll try to make one of these long, narrow points out of it. So that's what happened to this one. Okay, and one more. This one was not easy to nap. This is kind of a mystery chert. It has a little bit of chalkiness in it, various consistencies, mostly translucent. So the colors are pretty cool. The upper part was easy. The lower half was difficult. This was easy to nap down, although getting the lumps out can be very difficult. This wasn't too bad. Up here. Down here is where I encountered the difficulties. I had to make it really narrow to get flakes to run across some of these areas. But it turned out okay. Nice long Toya point. Let's see. I've got a drill here. Let's see. F13 is a Dalton type drill. Now in this particular style, my opinion is that they were using this to drill out main shafts for the foreshafts. So the width of the foreshaft is this width up here, which fits pretty well as a hafting situation for a Dalton, right? This is to use to ream out and enlarge the pith in a main shaft, or maybe a reed. It's hard to drill into solid wood, so it would need a pith or a hollow area like a reed or cane, but just enlarged to accept the friction fit foreshaft. Or you can put glue as well, but a lot of times it's just friction fit into the main shaft. Now with a friction fit, you probably would need more of a straight area than I put on this particular drill. So if it's tapered, perfectly all the way down, it is probably a glued in type after you ream it out. But if you have a straight area, in my opinion, if there's a straight area on the drill itself, you're going to have a good friction fit. Okay? Translucent. And I did set out actually to make a drill. I did intentionally make a drill with this. It's not a broken Dalton attempt. And it's kind of narrow for a Dalton. I made it specifically as a drill. Okay. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss one, because I've got more points than I do numbers. Oops. I got more points than I do numbers. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. I'm just gonna write a new number, I guess. Hold on. Sorry about that. had my marker around here somewhere. Okay, let's see. Everything wants to disappear. We're going to try this. I don't know. Can't see it that well, but there you go. That's coming up. Let's see. I'm looking to see, maybe I put two numbers under one thing. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Yeah, okay. I got more than 15. I got 16. All right. So F14 is a Dalton. Now this is from the set of slabs. Oh, I gotta do something about that lamp. Maybe put something on it so it won't ring. Okay, so here we go. I modified these to match as well as I could. This is the third slab. Now it started out as a Clovis. This one started out as a Clovis, but I could not get any thinning flakes to go anywhere where I had a prepared platform. So anywhere that I would prepare a platform, the flake would not travel. And it happened 100% of the time on this particular piece. So I just had to randomly flake it as best I could. And then pressure flake most of these thinning flakes that went into the stem. And of course pressure flake to finish up. But it was giving me trouble with the platforms. Now what I did with this one, I reduced the size of the stem on this and reduced the thickness and size of the blade on this one. Now this one is coming in at 160 grains. This is 150, I believe. Let's see. $158, $152. All right, close enough. So one is still heavier than the other, but the grain weight, the tolerance is pretty lenient on these at little dart points in general, right? So I would consider them matched. Anyway, that's from the previous videos. I'm offering this one for sale. Dalton, randomly flaked, trimmed up around the edges with pressure and all that. All right. And let's see, I've got two more Frios left. This one is F15. Straight sides, nice point. Georgetown, raw Georgetown. And this was made on a flake. This is the original flake service right here on this part. It was a large flake. Originally, I was going to make a wrapped blade like this out of it, but it was too short. Okay, raw Georgetown, semi-translucent. And last but not least, the extra one. For some reason I miscounted. Must have been a late night. It was. Translucent, very nice piece of chert. A little bit of cortex there. Frio style. A little over 3 inches. Like I said, most of my balls now are around this range. So in the upcoming auctions, I'll be offering smaller points until I get a batch of bigger nodules and stuff when I go back to Texas. I'm going to go back in April. Yeah, I'll be back in April and pick up some more rocks. For now, I just have smaller stuff in this range. Okay, all right, that's it. Have any questions, just put them in the comments. Please check the auction. Don't forget that you've bid. And good luck.